You stepped where you should not lie. These were the last words anyone ever received from Naomi Carson. The message, sent at 3:27 m, marked the end of her 13-day nightmare that began with a single photograph. They found her phone lying on her empty bed, the sheets undisturbed but beneath the bed frame, a mound of fresh cemetery soil. I know this because Naomi was my roommate, and I was the one who found what remained of her existence. Naomi always stood out on campus with her all-black wardrobe, silver jewelry, and obsession with all things macabre. Our university town bordered Black Hollow grounds, a colonial-era cemetery with a reputation that kept most locals away. But not Naomi. She was drawn to it like a moth to flame, especially after hearing about the nameless grave, a towering monolith inscribed only with the Latin phrase, Requis non semper pax est. Rest is not always peace. I'm going to Black Hollow to get some epic photos for my Instagram, she told me that Friday afternoon, applying her dark lipstick in our mirror. Want to come? I declined, mentioning the local warnings about the nameless grave. She laughed, her silver skull earrings catching the light. Those are just stories to keep tourists respectful, she said, grabbing her camera. Besides, the best pictures are the forbidden ones. That was the last normal conversation we ever had. The nameless grave stood in the center of Black Hollow grounds for over 3 centuries. Unlike the other graves, it had no name, no dates, just that Latin warning and the sheer size of it, nearly 8 feet tall and wider than any other marker. Local legend claimed it didn't contain a body, but something that had once worn a human form. The groundskeeper had warned her, I later learned, but Naomi just smiled politely before wandering deeper into the cemetery, her camera ready. She found the nameless grave as the sun was setting. Later, I would see the photos on her camera, dozens of shots of the massive stone monolith. But what made my blood run cold were the selfies. Naomi, sitting on top of the grave, legs dangling over the inscription, making peace signs and sticking out her tongue. In one photo, she pretended to be asleep on it, captioned "Rip me" with laughing emojis. She had no idea what she'd awakened. That night, Naomi returned excited about her photo shoot. But at 2 a.m., I woke to her scream. My reflection, she gasped, standing before our mirror. It had its eyes closed when mine were open. I thought she was having a nightmare, but the next morning, she showed me her hands dirt-caked under her fingernails that hadn't been there before. I didn't dig anything up, she whispered, scrubbing her hands raw. I swear I didn't. By the 3rd night, the sounds began. A soft shifting, like soil being moved, coming from beneath her bed. I heard it too, a gentle sifting, like something turning over in loose earth. We moved her mattress, searched the floor, but found nothing. Yet each morning, more dirt appeared under her nails, no matter how she taped her hands before sleep. Her reflection now moved a half-second after she did, and sometimes, when she looked away from the mirror, I swore her reflection remained staring at her. Day 7, she began coughing up soil. Tiny amounts, at first specks of black earth on her toothbrush. She stopped eating, certain something was contaminating her food. The university doctor found nothing wrong physically, suggesting anxiety medication. But I saw the dirt collecting in the corners of her eyes while she slept. By day 10, her skin smelled of cemetery soil, no matter how many showers she took. She whispered to me that something was hollowing her out, making space inside her. The 12th night, she woke screaming that something was pulling her toward the floor. Her arms were stretched downward, fingers clawing at the carpet. I helped her back to bed, but her eyes were different, distant, soil collecting in the corners. It's coming for me from below, she whispered. I can feel the grave reaching up. I should have stayed awake. I should have watched her. Instead, I woke to her empty bed and that final message on my phone. You stepped where you should not lie. Where Naomi had slept was now a small mound of grave dirt. Not scattered soil, a deliberate, shaped mound, like a miniature grave. Her phone lay beside it, still displaying that final message. The authorities searched for days. They excavated the nameless grave at Black Hollow, finding nothing but ancient, undisturbed soil. They questioned me repeatedly, suspecting foul play. But I know what happened. The grave didn't contain something, it was a doorway, and Naomi had been pulled through. A month after her disappearance, I visited the nameless grave. A small container of soil, the soil from her bed, in my pocket. As I approached, I swear I heard laughter beneath my feet. The Latin inscription seemed freshly cut, as if recently renewed. I placed the soil at the base of the monument, a kind of offering or return. That's when I noticed something new scratched below the Latin phrase, in handwriting I recognized as Naomi's. I'm not alone down here. I don't live in the dorm anymore. I couldn't stand the sound of shifting soil I'd hear at night. Sometimes, I think I see Naomi in reflective surfaces, standing behind me with her eyes closed and dirt streaming from her mouth. Last week, I noticed soil under my own fingernails. I never visited the grave again, never stepped where she stood. But maybe just knowing is enough. Maybe just telling her story has marked me too. So let this be a warning. At Black Hollow Grounds, rest is truly not always peace. And if you're hearing this, neither is knowing the truth.